Alright guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Now it's been a really long time since I've been around this setup, but I just got back from vacation and I decided I want to make this video. Now I should have made this obviously 2 weeks ago, before the Premier League started. As you can see from the title of the video, I'm going to be making my Premier League predictions for this season. I promised you guys I've already made my predictions. I actually got the list on my phone, so I'm just going to be like reading it out. I know everyone these days like to call themselves football experts, but it'll be nice to see, come May, how many of these predictions I'm going to get right. So without further ado, let's begin. So obviously we're going to start with the bottom, rock bottom. I have AFC Bournemouth. Now I've placed AFC Bournemouth there because out of all the teams I'm going to be, fighting for relegation, I think Bournemouth isn't going to be the one that's going to escape it due to just not enough quality in the team, inexperience in the Premier League. Last season was the first season in the Premier League, but they were flirting with relegation up until March, April. Obviously they could prove me wrong. They have Benicofovia up front, which I'm a big fan of, but I'm going to be placing AFC Bournemouth 20th. Right above them, Hull City. Now Hull City had a really strange pre-season. They had loads of players injured. Steve Bruce, the manager, left, and I just thought to myself, this team doesn't really look like a team that's prepared for a really long Premier League season. Obviously now we know that Hull City have won their opening 2 games, which I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised about that. But like I said at the beginning, I'm not gonna change my predictions. These are predictions I made before the Premier League started, so I'm gonna stick with it. Hull City 19th. And the last team to go down, in my opinion, is gonna be Sunderland. Now, out of the 3 teams I've picked to go down, I think Sunderland is gonna be the team that's gonna be most likely to surprise me in not getting relegated. They do have Jermaine Defoe up front. They do have David Moyes, who isn't a great manager, but he knows the Premier League well. I just think that Sunderland have been, flirting with the relegation just too often in the past few years, and obviously, like I said, they're gonna have to rely on Jermaine Defoe to bang in the goals, and if he does that, I think they'll be safe. But for now, Sunderland 18th position. Now for the teams that I've placed 17th to 11th, I'm just gonna breeze through them. For 17th, I got Burnley, good team, good manager, and I think they'll have just enough to get past the relegation zone. 16th, West Brom. What else can be said? They have Tony Pulis as the manager. He knows how to get a team, away from the relegation zone. 15th, I got Swansea. 14th, Middlesbrough. And who was it? 13th? 13th, I got Watford. Now, Watford, I placed them 13th. They have Igalo. They have, Troy Deeney. I just think for a mid-table team, it's important to have someone who's going to be playing up front, bagging the goals regularly. And I think Watford have that. I would place them higher, but I just don't think they have a good defence. And for that, I'm going to be placing them 13th. So 12th, I got Crystal Palace, and then 11th, I got Stoke City. So Crystal Palace, I think Benteke joining them is a really good deal for them. Losing Yannick Bolasie, I think that's going to hurt them a bit. But with Benteke, with Zaha, who actually I just heard on Twitter might be leaving to go to Spurs. So if that does happen, I might change my mind on my prediction. But for now, Crystal Palace 12th. And then Stoke City 11th. Just like West Brom, same old, really. Stoke City always get either like 11th, 10th or 9th. They never move from those positions. And so now we're going to break into the top half of the Premier League season. Now this time when I'm making my predictions, I've never actually had it be this difficult predicting the top half of the Premier League. You have all these teams that can really fight for a European place. Either Europa League or Champions League, of course. Obviously, my prediction could mean absolutely nothing, but here goes. So in 10th position, I got Southampton. The biggest loss for Southampton was losing their manager, Ronald Koeman. He went to Everton, of course. They did lose money as well, but I think Koeman really solidified that team. They also might even lose Fonte, the really good defender they have. So moving on, I got 9th position, West Ham. Now West Ham, obviously they have the Europa League this season, and if they do get out of the Europa League early in the season, I think they possibly could finish higher. But if they stay in it, I think that's going to have an effect. I think they're going to finish, like I said, 9th. I think 9th position is a respectable position for West Ham. I know they just moved to the Olympic Stadium, the London Stadium. Overall things are looking pretty good for West Ham. I know they tried earlier in the transfer window, I should say. They tried to sign Lacazette. He turned them down. A bunch of other players, big players as well, and they all turned West Ham down. So I just think West Ham need a bit more time to call themselves a big club, but they're heading in the right direction. So in 8th position, I got Everton. Now Everton, I think the best thing they did was keep Romelu Lukaku. I know they got Ronald Koeman, but keeping Romelu Lukaku in that team is probably the best thing they've done all summer. I know they lost John Stones for 50 million, 55 million, who is a bit overrated to be honest, but Everton used that money to really strengthen their defense, their midfield. I think they'll do a really good job. In 7th, we have the champions of England, Leicester City. They're going to be playing in the Champions League. I'm still thinking about it and it's still crazy, I can't believe it. Obviously Leicester City lost Kante to Chelsea. I think that's the biggest loss they've had but they have strengthened in the likes of, Mendy, the guy from the French league, and Ahmed Musa, who I'm actually really excited about. I think he's going to do really well for Leicester. But just the simple fact that their squad isn't really big enough to be playing in both the Premier League and the Champions League, I think that's going to have a big effect on them. So I'm going to be placing them 7th. And to be honest, Everton could probably finish above them, but I'm placing them there just for now. Well, not just for now, that's where I'm going to be placing them. So yeah, just move on. Now in 6th position, I thought really long and hard about this, and it was between 2 teams, Liverpool and Tottenham. And to be honest, I'm still kind of going back and forth in my head, but I'm going to go with 6th position, Liverpool. Yes, they're not going to be playing in Europe. Yes, they have a really good manager now who's built a team that he can call his. But I still see problems with that Liverpool team, and as you can see from the pre-season even, they beat Barcelona 4-0 at Wembley. Amazing result. And then just a few days later, they lost 4-0 to a mid-table team in Germany. So that means 5th position is Tottenham. So they're going to miss out on the top 4 yet again. Tottenham do have a good team, I'm not going to lie. I mean, they were fighting for the title up until, late April. I really don't think that's going to happen again. And if you put Arsenal and Tottenham on a level playing field, it feels really weird to say that. But if you do, I just think Arsenal's got the upper hand. So that leaves us with the 4 teams that are going to finish in the top 4. Now, so in 4th position, alright guys, you can joke about it, it's Arsenal. And as of now, as of August 25th, which is the time I'm recording this video, Arsenal have not bought a striker, or a good enough striker I should say. So if from now until the end of the transfer window, which is just a few days away, Arsenal do get a really good striker, then they possibly could finish up higher. But in 3rd position, I have Manchester City. Now obviously Man City have got a lot of changes from last season, new manager, a bunch of new players, and it just feels like the whole club's changed. I really like Pep Guardiola, but I just think, it's his first season in the Premier League. I don't feel like he can do it on his first try. I think he'll be surprised by how difficult it is to be playing in both the Champions League and the Premier League week in, week out. So that leaves us with 2 teams remaining, Chelsea and Man United, to finish in the top 2. And to be honest, I'm kind of skeptical of Chelsea now, seeing as the first 2 games of their season, they needed a really late goal to win them the game. But like I said, these predictions were made before the season even started, so I'm going to go with it. 2nd place, it's Chelsea. No Champions League football to worry about, that's a really good advantage to have. They're not going to have as many injuries as the other teams that are going to be fighting for the title. They have a fantastic new manager in Conte, and I think they've signed probably one of the best players in the Premier League, Conte. But overall, Chelsea look like a decent team. Obviously, it's down to Hazard to really step up. Last season, he was invisible. This season, I think he'll do well. Probably see a lot more of him throughout the season. But yeah, that's my justification for Chelsea. So that leaves 1 team to win the title, and that is, of course, Man United. I think out of all the teams that are fighting for that title, I think Man United probably strengthened the best. Zlatan, Pogba, Mkhitaryan, Bailey, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Zlatan, he's going to be banging in the goals, and as we've seen from the first 2 games, he's already got himself, I think, 2 or 3 goals. And of course, the most expensive player in the world, Paul Pogba. I think if people don't really rate him as a world-class player yet, I think he will be. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit jealous of Paul Pogba, but more importantly of Zlatan. I think he's gonna be really key for Man United's season. Not to mention the manager that they got, Jose Mourinho. He's been there, done that. Mourinho, as much as I hate him, he knows how to get the job done, and I think he's strengthened just enough, to get Man United there. As long as they don't get big injuries to their key players, I think they'll do it. I think they'll win the league. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen, my 2016-2017 Premier League prediction. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And like I said at the beginning, I'm going to be reviewing my predictions come the end of the season. But it wouldn't surprise me if, Hull City won the league. Honestly, after last season, anything can happen. But yeah, that is it for now. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the likes and comments, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.